So Democrats have done some of their very best politicking in a long time. Of course, they have done it on a Friday in August, so no one will see it. Ta-da! Welcome to Why Liberals Have Ulcers. If you are curious, though, here's what Democratic good politicking looks like.
For 75 years, America's seniors have been able to grow old with dignity and security. But Republicans want to change the system, risking Social Security in the stock market, privatizing it for corporate profit, ending guaranteed benefits, or getting rid of it altogether.
It is a potent argument, and not just because the music turns creepy and the announcer guy's voice gets all sinister when he starts talking about the Republicans. It is a powerful argument, even if he spoke pleasantly the whole time, because Social Security is a very powerful political issue. It's a powerful social contract in this country. And quite frankly, the Democrats do have room to run on this right now, because check out who they're running against this election cycle.
We need to phase Medicare and Social Security out.
I don't know whether it's constitutional or not. It is certainly a horrible policy.
Let young working people opt out. The sooner the better.
So don't fix it. You're saying don't do any of these fixes.
I'm saying it can't be fixed. It's broken.
It's a Ponzi scheme. They're taxing us to pay for the current generation.
The idea that the federal government should be running health care or retirement or any of those programs is fundamentally against what I believe.
Those are not random, speakers at tea parties, random activists we found in dark corners on the interwebs. Those are Republican nominees for the United States Senate from the great states of Nevada and Colorado and Kentucky, and those are the views they've expressed on camera about Social Security. It's a broken Ponzi scheme that needs to be phased out because it's wrong. Tell that to the 20 million Americans for whom Social Security means not living in poverty. So the Democrats have found a good fighting words kind of issue to thump the other party with this Friday in August. The Democrat Senate campaign arm even has a handy interactive map on its website that shows you each state where a Republican who wants to mess around with Social Security is running for office. Of course, the only excuse the Democrats have for bringing out this particular political weapon on a Friday in August when no one will see it is that there is a historical hook to the whole issue this weekend. It is the 75th birthday of Social Security. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed the Social Security Act into law on August 14th, 1935. So the Democrats are presumably thinking, hey, maybe now's a good time to remember how awesome it is that Social Security is a thing we have now in America thanks to FDR. It's also a good time to remember that Social Security and unemployment insurance were born at the same time because as luck would have it, both of those policies are under attack today from conservatives. When FDR signed the Social Security Act 75 years ago, he made the case for the unemployment insurance side of it on two grounds. One was the moral imperative to help individual people who would otherwise fall off a financial cliff. But the other was that it was a safety net for the entire economy. Because tens of millions of Americans having zero purchasing power, they not only have to live off cat food as individuals, they also, with their lack of purchasing power, lock the economy into a downward spiral that the economy can't get out of.
The unemployment insurance part of the legislation will not only help to guard the individual in future periods of layoff against dependence upon relief, but it will, by sustaining the purchasing power of the nation, cushion the shock of economic distress.
Both of those arguments for unemployment insurance are as true today as they were then, especially since we've just gone through the worst financial calamity since the Great Depression, which, of course, was the context in which the Social Security Act was passed and made law 75 years ago. But after 75 years of watching unemployment insurance work, conservatives are against it. And it's not just that they don't think unemployment insurance is good for the economy. They also disagree with FDR on the moral imperative part. They don't think we should be helping people who might otherwise become homeless or, living off cat food. This is the Republican line on unemployment insurance this year. Senator John Kyle of Arizona, for example, thinks people are unemployed because of unemployment.
That doesn't create new jobs. In fact, if anything, continuing to pay people unemployment compensation is a disincentive for them to seek new work.
See, very sound logic. People are unemployed because there's unemployment insurance. The logic by which everybody who has homeowners insurance right now should be burning down your own house on a regular basis. For his part, Senator Orrin Hatch of Utah thinks anyone getting unemployment benefits deserves to be drug tested.
We should not be giving cash to people who basically are just going to go blow it on drugs.
Also, everyone's favorite Senate hopeful, Sharon Engel, running to replace Majority Leader Harry Reid in Nevada. She thinks people who have lost their jobs are spoiled because of unemployment insurance.
That's what's happened to us, is that we have put in so much entitlement into our government that we really have spoiled our citizenry and said, you don't want the jobs that are available.
Also, don't forget Iowa Congressman Steve King, who said on the subject of extending unemployment benefits, quote, "We shouldn't turn the safety net into a hammock." Or Nevada Congressman Dean Heller, whose super offensive take on the unemployed was also super strange. Heller said the current economic downturn and policies may bring back the hobos of the Great Depression, people who wandered the country taking odd jobs. He questioned the wisdom of extending unemployment benefits. Quote, "Is the government now creating hobos?" he asked. So that's what today's Republicans think of the unemployed. People who don't have jobs are a bunch of lazy hobos who are probably on drugs. Today, my friend Steve Bennin at Washington Monthly pointed out another great historical detail about Social Security and unemployment insurance, which is that not only are today's conservatives still arguing with FDR 75 years later about whether these things are a good idea, whether or not America having a basic safety net is a good idea, whether or not we were better off before 1935, they're still having that same argument. But people who would be today's liberals, the conservatives of the 1950s, in other words, like Republican President Dwight Eisenhower, those folks foresaw that politicians would keep resisting these programs. And Ike also foresaw the political disaster it would bring about for people who resisted them. Steve Bennin today quoted a letter that President Eisenhower wrote to his brother in 1954, quote, "Should any political party attempt to abolish Social Security, unemployment insurance, and eliminate labor laws and farm programs, you would not hear of that party again in our political history," Ike said. The president acknowledged in the letter that there are some who advocate such nonsense, but he added, quote, "Their number is negligible, and they are stupid." Their number is negligible, and they are stupid, end quote. I have to say, as usual, I am in theory with Ike on this one, but calling today's Republicans stupid, that just seems very harsh and incivil.